make it. We will definitely make it. Why is it that a system will remain stagnant, be on the same spot, never progress, and yet we are just looking at them and then leave it the way it is? It is not right. A system must be dynamic. Let me tell you, even a stone that we see moves with the expansion. When energy hits the rock will expand, moves. So we have to move. We have to move forward. So green chemistry is something that we must take serious. So what we can do to establish this institution is make sure that from 100 level we have a course on green chemistry, and then encourage our students on green chemistry, and also expose our students on green chemistry. Even the first time I heard about green chemistry, I was saying, what is green chemistry? Even many times when they came, some people came to speak on green chemistry, I find it difficult to understand until after a long time of showing interest. Then I developed interest, and now I have to create research in green chemistry. So I think let me stop there to give other people time.
Thank you very much, sir. Maybe just to make it a little bit clearer for some of us that are not in chemistry, because even you that you're a professor of inorganic chemistry, you said when you first heard about green chemistry, you were wondering what it is. So please, what is this green chemistry? So that we will know what green chemistry is about. Just briefly, yes, sir.
It has already been defined for us in the morning by Dr. What's his name now? Doctor, what's your name? Tell me now. He has already defined to us in many ways. See, let me make it so simple. From waste to wealth. When you have waste and you create wealth from waste, that if you make a waste useful, then you are studying green chemistry. When you are moving from something that is senseless, doesn't make any sense, and you make sense out of it, then that is what is called green chemistry.
Thank you very much, sir. I just wanted it in a layman's language, so that those of us that are not in chemistry, that are farmers and maybe homemakers, will know exactly what you're talking about. Mr. Michael Effiong, one of the things that Prof said is that green skills, acquisition of green skill is possible if we have interests and all of that. As the president of the Science Teachers Association of Nigeria, Akwa Ibom State Chapter, what is the role of STAN and other teachers union in this conversation of green, green skills, sustainability, and all of that? What exactly are you doing? Is that, do you have motivation? Is there no motivation? What exactly are you doing to make sure that the students at the secondary level actually imbibe these green skills? You can use this.
Thank you very much. So when we talk about green chemistry, it is there in what we call STEM education. In STEM education, we talk about science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. And in the science and technology, we try to bring in programs that will bring in students from the cradle. What I mean by cradle, students from the primary education, introduce them into green chemistry by introducing those things we feel it is waste, just like we did last in South Korea when Akwa Ibom State presented a team of young scientists at the national level, and we were lucky that our project see the light of the day at the federal level, and it was selected to represent Nigeria at the international level. This is where the green chemistry came to play, where we now turn the land that we feel it is not good for cultivation into an arable land. I am talking as an agriculturist, that all the things that you say it is a waste, we try to bring them in and teach the students on how to manage them and turn those wastes into wealth.
That's very good. Congratulations that we made it to South Korea and all of that. I think that's worth applauding, for goodness sake. Akwa Ibom State, we are going places. Thank you. I'll move quickly now to Mr. Thomas Oguniron. As the MD of a large conglomerate, you consider the possession of green skills a necessary requirement for employment? If yes, why is that important to your conglomerates?
Yeah, first of all, good morning, everybody. Honored to be here once again. I would also like to give you a brief idea of what Big Dutchman is doing. I think a lot of people have seen the name, you might heard of it. Big Dutchman is a manufacturer for technical livestock equipment, meaning everything concerning livestock, feeding line, drinking line, housing equipment. We are in Nigeria for over 15 years now. Big Dutchman is the world market leader with a very strong commitment here in Africa, and especially with a special focus on Nigeria in developing the agriculture industry. So having said that, this goes also in line with the idea of green agriculture. And yes, you are very right. We have started to consider also green skills when we are looking into our recruitment processes, but nevertheless, we are still at a very, very beginning point. Big Dutchman is always known for a big player, that we are always working with the big farms, so on and so forth, which is not entirely accurate, because we do also take care of all small and mid-sized farmers in the country. We are already executing some minor projects here in Akwa Ibom, but nevertheless, of course, the poultry hubs, Abeokuta, Ibadan, Kaduna, etc., have taken the lead, but we are committed to also get and establish our footprint more here in the eastern region, especially with a focus on Uyo and Akwa Ibom. Now, yes, we do and we consider green skills in our recruitment, but as I said it before, we are at the very, very beginning point. Why? I always have the feeling, and I'm saying that as a Nigerian myself, my father is a Nigerian, my mother is a German, so just to clear out all misunderstandings. We do always take the second step before we do the first step. We can talk about bringing sustainability, green ideas to Nigeria, and I really appreciate that. I think it's very, very important also from the perspective as the MD of Big Dutchman Sub-Saharan Africa, but we have to take the first step first. We have to make sure that food security is established. We have to make sure that jobs have been created. And we have to encourage the youth actually to step into agriculture. Anywhere I'm going, and I'm saying that, and I'm sometimes repeating it over and over again, there is this constant idea that oil and gas is somehow something you can eat. We still have this very, very, very interesting approach, and I'm not tired in repeating it and saying it. Agriculture is the way forward. We have to make sure that people have enough to eat. And if people have enough to eat, then they are open for greener approaches, for sustainability, for thinking of the future. But if you are waking up in the morning and you're going hungry to bed in the evening, you will not care about anything else than whether you have seen something to eat or not. You will not think about green, about sustainability, so on and so forth. However, Big Dutchman, in its very comprehensive approach, has started to bring innovative system into the country already, and we are facing serious challenges with the mindset. Not only when we are recruiting, because sometimes even when I'm joining the recruitment processes, some of the candidates will just ask me, but why green? Why do we have to think of how to treat the manure of the chickens? For example, if you have a chicken farm with 50,000 layers, you will produce something like 20 tons per day of manure. A lot of farmers do not know what to do with it. They will just actually dump it or even flush it into the stream nearby. We are trying to get the idea, or to deliver the idea, that if they treat the manure to certain systems, they can actually use it as fertilizer at the end of the day. But it is a challenge because profit scale of economics are not very well implemented, and what we are trying, and we are keeping on and trying to pursuing or to convincing our clients and our farmers in the nation to exactly go for that in order to make also agriculture more green. And by doing that, we also try from day one, whoever is joining us, our trainee program is very successful here in Nigeria, and I would like to take a little step back, referring to the questions that I've heard before. Yes, there are challenges in getting Forex, and there are challenges in service and maintenance, but we as Big Dutchman, I can let you know, we have a fully flagged service team here on ground consisting of 30 trained engineers, supervisors, all Nigerians, who have, of course, been to Germany, trained there, and now they are coming back, and now we are following the principle, each one teach one. So out of these 30 colleagues of mine, we are able to service the entire sub-Saharan area at the moment. Because the first thing I stopped when I took over office here 5 years ago was to import labor from abroad. Said that is not possible. We have to stop importing expatriates from Europe, from wheresoever, into Africa, and then executing the jobs, making a horrendous money in a period of time.
That's part of being green, actually.
That is
because you know you have
yes.
to limit the carbon footprint.
Exactly.
Bringing people from outside to do jobs that you can
and
have
also
people
to
from
encourage our young colleagues and our young students here and our young apprenticeships who are working with us, that one day they will actually achieve this. And I can let you know, I'm very, very happy to see my colleagues nowadays flying to Ivory Coast, going to Dubai, going to Congo, going to Niger, based on the knowledge and the knowledge transfer and the educational training we have provided for them. It's a paragon, and it is difficult, but we have to start somewhere. And Big Dutchman took this very bold approach 15 years ago when they said, no, we are not only coming with a rep office, we have a fully flagged subsidiary here on ground. And I can tell you the costs we are facing are really, really tough. They are high, but nevertheless, we are committed, and that is the only way it works. We have to start within ourselves. We have to start here in Nigeria, and then I think we can all move forward also towards a better future, and also definitely forward or towards a greener and brighter future for all of us. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Wow. He actually addressed two questions, because the second question I had for him, he had actually taken care of that. And then he also said something that is very fundamental. If you're hungry, you'll not be able to hear anything. I'm sure now that we had the tea break, we've renewed our sugar level and all of that, we can better pay attention to what is being said here. You know, as a rural sociologist, one of the things I've observed on the field is that when we go to farmers, we try to introduce change to them, and they reject. We say, this farmer is so pessimistic, is so resistant to change and all of that. What the farmer is just doing is being security, safety conscious. If the farmer adopts what you're trying to introduce and it fails, where is insurance? How would the farmer, take care of food security and all of it? So he has made a very, a fundamental point that they are trying to ensure food security first, and then after food security, they are also changing the mindsets of the people. Please, another round of applause for him. Thank you. We'll move quickly now to Professor Godfrey Udoh. Professor Udoh is a professor of estate management, University of Uyo. And the question I have, Prof, how compelling is the concept of the circular economy for Nigeria? Is there a need to integrate green and sustainability into the education curriculum? How compelling is it?
Thanks for that question. I am going to take you on a very brief tour of the environment, nature, but it's going to be a brief one. When God created this earth, there was no pollution. There were trees and all sorts of things. They grew in the wild. Trees would grow old and die, the leaves would wither, And if you went into the forest then, or if you go to a forest now, you'll see that things happen naturally. There is no pollution out there. The dead leaves you see there are all going to be used by the forest. Then came man, and he destabilized everything. And so we started having unwanted products of nature. And that's actually what is called pollution. When you do things that are not biodegradable, create things that are not biodegradable, they stay on Earth, they weren't supposed to be there. Earth was created to be a carbon sink, or to sink all other types of things, so that things will disintegrate and get back into nature, dust to dust. And so that's why even we that came from dust will go back to dust, and then there'll be the status quo maintained. Now we've created things, and then we've got society. We've got, like this conference here is aimed at the quadruple helix. And in the quadruple helix we have society, communities, we have industry, we have the educational sector, and we have government. Each of these groups in society make demands of nature in one way or another. In communities, people live in houses. Industry will need factories, they will need buildings to use as offices or educational institutions in the universities. Government requires its own kinds of infrastructure that it uses, and all of these make a demand on energy, on other kinds of resources that are natural. And we are left in the end with waste products of one sort or another. And those of us who've been here all morning have heard of the kinds of wastes that we can find in society. Some that are created in location A gets moved to location B or C, and they are suffered there, etc. We've heard all this. Now, what does academia do? What do we do in educational institutions? The idea is to understand how each of these units in the quadruple helix operates. We need to understand society and how it operates, and what it needs, what it uses, how it uses those things. If academics would do a few things, for instance, research, I believe that there are 4 basic things that must be done in academia. First is research. Second is integration of knowledge. Third is the application of knowledge. And then fourthly, to teach. Teaching is the final thing. So we research first. Look at the quadruple helix. What are needed in society? Communities, housing, sorts of things. And all of them result in waste. Let's study those. Secondly, we have, having studied that, we have to see how to integrate the knowledge we have acquired into how society should work, or the various arms in the triple helix. Then we get out there to apply this knowledge to see whether it works. It is after we've done all this that we can come back to teach. And then the circle continues. Because once we teach, our students get out there. All right, we teach students. Now, in teaching students, or those who are apprentices in one form of industry or another, in teaching them, what do we expect them to do? We expect them to get out there and understand the quadruple helix, their various needs, and how to meet those needs. How are they expected to meet those needs? Assuming that we are in green chemistry or whatever, we've studied this, we need to get out there and say, industry in the triple helix, how does green chemistry integrate with life to make sure that the status quo is maintained and we reduce pollution? So we try to apply that knowledge. But you see, in teaching, we have to understand that a lot of things goes into teaching. For instance, the NUC curriculum for 2002, the BMAS, introduced something new, novel if you like, and that is entrepreneurship, entrepreneurial education, in such a way that when we teach students, we are teaching them so that when they become graduates, they come out and know how to manage the businesses that do the things that they were trained to do. If it's green chemistry, I'm using that because that's the closest one I've heard this morning. If it's green chemistry, how do you start an organization that works in line with green chemistry? Or if it's solar panel manufacture to reduce carbon footprints in the use of oil, how do you create an industry? You might actually not create something as big as what my brother has, but you might create something that services his industry. If you understand what he does, you might figure out a small niche of what he's doing based on the education you have acquired, and go on to him and say, do you know we can help you to facilitate one aspect of your business? And that might be a relief to him, but it will be an employment to you and the application of that knowledge for you to gain a living and to help reduce carbon footprint, etc., and for us to have green living. So I don't know whether I shouldn't stop there. I'm sure we might have another opportunity to talk again. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Clap if you feel like clapping, please. Thank you. You know, when somebody says something that touches you, you're impressed, clap. You're not going to pay a fine for clapping, so just feel free to clap. Thank you. So we'll move on to Ms. Nse Eko, the Assistant Director of Education Services. And my question to you, ma'am, is that do you think that the introduction of sustainability education and green skills development as a policy into the curriculum of primary and secondary schools will help in changing the mindset of our people? Do you think it's a good thing to do? Will the introduction help? Will it do anything? Is it possible to introduce such policies in the States?
Thank you so much. It is very possible. I didn't understand the meaning of green chemistry. That was why I was asking many questions then. But by our profs talking, I just came to the knowledge that yes, it has been there in our curriculum already in the primary and the secondary. We have this program that we call JET that was introduced into the education system of the primary secondary in 1987 by the Federal Ministry of Education. We call it JET. It's an acronym for Junior Engineers, Technicians, and Scientists. In our primary schools and secondary, it has gone with, our children have gone places with this. Like I may not remember the year, our students, in short, a primary school child, turned cow dung, and she produced cooking gas from it. And that won us first position at the federal level. Some years too, peels of oranges were used to produce insecticides. We won an award there too. In addition to insecticide, it was used in producing cakes, dandruff, anti-dandruff stuff. We use a fiber of coconut and Britain. I don't know whether there is a Greek teacher in the house. What is in Britain, the botanical name and English name? The Biblical name is Britain. To purify all manner of dirty water. At World Purification Water Purification Year, Nigeria, represented by Akwa Ibom School, took second position there with that project. All manner of dirty water. We're talking about green chemistry and disposing non-biodegradable materials everywhere. Our water bottles, whatever stuff. Our students use that to produce tar instead of asphalt, because asphalt is biodegradable. but polythene are not. So we use that to tar our road, and we won an award too. And we were pleading with the government of Nigeria to try it, at least on our roads, because we have incessant rainfalls here. If we could use that on our roads, that most of the time that a road will be tarred, after 3 years, it will go bad again. That will not happen. I know everything that has an advantage must always come with disadvantage, but I think it has more advantage than disadvantages, and many more. I didn't know I was going to speak on this. I would have searched my books. The thing just came in, but let me stop there so that I may not make a mistake.
Thank you
so
very much. Please, let's appreciate her. Well, I'll take a short break and give the audience opportunity to say one or two things before we come back to our panelists to give us their last line on the way forward. Remember that what we've been talking about is a green skills, sustainable education, and we've been asking questions and answering questions along the lines of: is the academia, industry, government ready for a circular economy? How prepared are we? What are they doing right now? What should they be doing? What are the challenges? And how do we move forward? I'll take one or two questions or contributions from the audience. I've seen many hands. Okay. Unfortunately, I'm not sure I'll be able to take everybody, but I'll take the first 5. I saw this hand first. 1, 2, 3, 4. The lady. 5. So 2 ladies and no, 2 ladies. There's a lady here. There's another lady there. So let's have Professor Boro 1. Please, when you want to, you introduce yourself. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's take the 5 first. If we have time after that, then we can take more, because we still have another program after this. Thank you.
Thank you so much, our panelists. I want to green chemistry. I want to understand that as a practice. I want to see it as a practice. But the way I'm hearing the discussion going, it's like a subject. It could be a subject, but I see it more like a practice that we are now for the future, now and for future generation, should start tailoring our youths, our students, right from the early stages, maybe secondary school, primary school, and then secondary, probably university, and the awareness getting to the larger audience, that is the public, awareness of a particular practice, which is the practice that the environment, whatever you're doing, you are trying to do, you should take cognizance of the environment. It affects after effect on the environment in the long run. Now, if that is the case, then and then we are talking about the curriculum, I should see it as a practice that takes into cognizance so many disciplines, interdisciplinary courses, if you like, subjects. I don't know if I'm clear, I'm understood. That we put together in a way, maybe when you come to design the curriculum, put together in a way that when we now administer to our youths, and then they will have that mind, develop that mind to start doing things sustainably. But I'm listening to it as a course, not as a practice.
Okay.
I don't know if I'm understood or if I'm
Yeah, you understood.
or if I'm please. I don't know. I want some clarification on that.
Yeah, thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
I'm sure your point has been well taken. And I was going to ask Professor Olaleyem, to comment on that during the second round, but it's like you took that off me. But before I go to him, I just want to say that I believe that the green skills acquisition thing, green development thing, should be like entrepreneurship that is being introduced across courses in university. So it's not just a practice. Practice cannot just come on its own. For now that you're talking about bringing in from the primary, catching the children young, so it has to be introduced into their curriculum, so it becomes part and parcel of them. So as they grow up, they know that whatever course you're studying, you have to go green. You have to acquire green skills. I don't know if Prof wants to add something to that.
Thank you. Sorry. No, I know my professor is in analytical chemistry, if I'm not mistaken, or environmental. Sorry, environmental. You are not? Okay. Because when something is polluted, that's a waste already. When you remove that impurities from it and make it pure, then you are doing green chemistry. It's green chemistry. So the thing I can just, sir, you want to say something? So that's green chemistry already. When you make something that is polluted and make it pure, there's nothing you do in this world without even mention chemistry. It's already chemistry, because all these materials we wear, they are all chemistry. All the action we are taking, they are all chemistry, because there's nothing you do that has no one element or the other. And that's why we created a periodic table for all these elements. No element you mention that is not in that periodic table. So which means that anything you do that comes from negative and become positive, it's green chemistry. It's very simple. You have to create your idea, develop a research that nobody else has ever done. If you want yourself to be recognized, you think of something that nobody has ever gone through it, and you are making it from negative side and make it positive. Then people will recognize you, people will welcome you, and then you become popular. Maybe one of these days you become a Nobel Prize winner. When my sister was mentioning something about taking orange, the peel of orange, and then convert it to insecticides, she is already doing green chemistry, wonderful green chemistry that can fetch her money. If she just collaborate, that is the concept of collaboration is very significant. I can't do any research without collaborating. You can't see my paper and be the only one, the author. You see a professor writing paper as the only one every time, the only one writing the paper every day. When I watch, something is wrong somewhere. So that's it. So you have to collaborate. When you collaborate, the idea you don't have, that person may have it. When you now join the two ideas together, it makes sense. You move from something low to higher. That's green chemistry. So I think that's all I can say for now. But in the let me add this, because I may not be given the opportunity again. There's something we do in ACS. We call it chemistry festival. Chemistry festival. You will learn about this if you can make yourself available June and come here. We had that great chemistry festival to the program we are going to do here June next year. Please be available, because people are coming all over and people are coming from outside the country too to enjoy it. So I just want you to know that we use that chemistry festival to activate the spirit of secondary school students and create awareness of chemistry in their heart and make it more interesting in their heart and develop it in their heart through that chemistry festival. It's just like a festival. When you go for a festival, you know what happens in the festival. Everybody see one thing or the other that are new and do and so forth. And when you see it, you pick your own, the one that may be valuable to you. That's what you do. We look at those these people, somebody, I mean, all these young ones, secondary school, primary school, and we try to we invite some people who have ideas of what you can make these people understand the concept of what is called chemistry. How can you make so when you do that, you will see, and you carry out some experiment. You have a balloon and you dip hole inside the balloon, and the balloon doesn't go down. It looks like a magic, and those children will be enjoying it and they will be excited. And you mix some chemicals, and from that chemical you generate odor that is very interesting, and you show it to them, and you show a color. You show an experiment that is changing from yellow to green and come back to green, and so on and so forth, and they are seeing it like a magic. So they will develop interest. So we make it so that's it. So what you can so.
I'm sure it's very interesting. I look forward to it already. We'll take the next, the second comment or question.
Yeah. Mine is a question first to.
Sorry, your name, please, sir.
Okay, my name is Augustine Brendan Ian. I teach entrepreneurial studies at Tufted University. To Mr. Ogundiran, you said something during your presentation that you tried to be innovative, and one of the things that confronts you was a kind of mindset. To me, there are so many people in this room that may not understand what that means. Mindset issues. I think that was the word you used. That's to you. Then to Prof. Professor, forgive me, Professor Udo. Our understanding of what we are discussing, to my mind, there's a disconnect between what you said, which is good, about research, but there's a strong disconnection between the academia aspect of what we are looking at and industry. We do the research, and the research findings find themselves on shelves and not in collaboration, in working relationship with the industry users who will convert the results into meaningful products or services that will help society. How do we bridge this gap? I think it will help us. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We'll take the answers, please, briefly, so that other people will have opportunity to talk. We'll start with Mr. Ogun.
Yeah, thank you very much. I'm trying to keep it short. When I mentioned mindset, I actually meant that, and I don't know who or whoever here is in the audience who is going through recruitment processes might join me. The young people we are having today, when they're coming to our office or coming to our assessment center, they do not think about going into the field and start farming. Their idea is, oh, I want to become a manager, I need a nice desk, I need a driver, I need a car, but they will not think about for a single second of start going into the field, start digging, dealing with chickens, picking the eggs in the morning, cleaning the pen house of the manure. It's absolutely not in their mind, and that is what I was referring to. That's number one. Number two, another challenge we also face, of course, with our clients who still believe that chicken manure is something that needs to be dumped. And we are trying to convince them day by day, no, it's nothing to be dumped, it's something that needs to be processed, because at the end of the day you can sell it. So, going back to my statement, the mindset is a challenge, and it needs to be somehow treated and it needs to be paid attention to, but especially for our younger generations, for the people that are growing up, this idea that oil and gas remains superior in the world, and especially here in Nigeria, is wrong. Agriculture is the future, and therefore I think we need to encourage and we need to work on that and try to convince younger generations to join the agriculture industry, not only because it is a very interesting field, but it's also a very, 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 it's a business sector where you can really earn and really make a fundamental difference. And of course, at the end of the day, it's very profitable. Thank you.
Very lucrative. In fact, we are told that a barrel of palm oil is more expensive than a barrel of crude oil. So it's very lucrative. Professor Odo?
Yes. I don't believe that there is a dichotomy between academia and practice. And in the example I gave, I mentioned that academia should think about doing research, integration of knowledge, application, and then teaching. Application is the point that this question is directed to. Now, application should be seen. For instance, if the academic sees himself as a corporate academic, a corporate academic is different from the person who sits in the classroom or in the university, does research, makes publications, and gets promoted. That's a pure academic. A corporate academic integrates that with practice. For instance, I have a business. My business feeds what I do in the university. My students feed on my business. My students practice. If my business was agriculture, my students would use my agricultural business as their practice location. My students practice what I teach them in my own firm and the firms that are owned by the rest of us and other firms outside. And that is how they integrate the knowledge that we give them in the classroom with what happens in practice. So if it was like a pharmaceutical industry, I believe that a university should have a lab where it creates its own drugs. Maybe not commercially, maybe commercially, in partnership with some outside pharmaceutical industries. So that students who are taught see through this process before they get out. And the proceeds of their research gets practiced in the integration of knowledge and the application. And if we see that there is commercial viability in whatever happens there, then of course it can get out into a manufacturing firm somewhere where it is mass produced as a commercial venture. So I don't see that there is a dichotomy, and I didn't insinuate that. And I think there should be that collaboration, a constant collaboration between academia and practice. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Actually, there's a lot of collaboration going on, but somehow I don't know why a lot of people in the society, have this misconception that our research work, everything ends on the shelf, that nothing is happening. It's not true. There's a lot of collaboration going on, a lot of things that we are bringing out are being used up in industries, There's a lot of research practice and all of that going on. So we'll go to the next person. There was a lady there. Yeah. Thank you. We've been hearing male voices. Let's hear the female voice too. Oh, Dr. Stella. I didn't see you anymore.
Good afternoon, everyone. Mine is more of, let me say, a contribution. In the primary school now, what we have is basic science and technology, which is, if you are going to incorporate green chemistry from the primary to the secondary, I think we should really consider the pedagogy, because we know that most of the time here in Nigeria we teach, and at the end of the day the children take the exam and everything goes like that. So if we want anything to become a part of the society, children to integrate it, knowledge to be practiced, we really have to consider how we teach it. We know that the toolkit they have mentioned here, which they will elaborate, but we know that SUBEB, I am a master trainer for UBEC, and we know that they have imbibed the UNICEF methods of teaching now in our primary schools, especially in basic science and technology, where children are involved in activity-based kind of training. They're completely involved. So, and there's this method that they developed, the Y Project, UNICEF, where aspects of the curriculum which align itself to sustainability are highlighted by the teacher while he or she is teaching the regular curriculum. So they call children's attention to aspects of the curriculum which is aligned to the green chemistry or sustainability. And that is the teacher incorporating it in the existing lesson they're doing. That is a way of bringing it into the primary school curriculum, but still it can be brought in. And then there are certain activities that the children do at that young age, like a sustainability day, a day that you create awareness about this kind of a thing. If we really want these things to be practiced among our children, similarly in the secondary school level, it can also be brought in that way, integrated into the existing curriculum, in where the teacher brings in activity-based method of teaching, in which the children we call their attention to aspects of the curriculum which is in line with green chemistry, in line with sustainability, and bring in activities that they will do that will relate what they are learning to the real world, what is happening. But in the higher education, we still have that problem, that we lecture these children. Pedagogy is important. We lecture these our students, and at the end, that subject becomes something to take an exam, and then eventually they pass and they go and they don't remember anything. So we really have to look at the pedagogy. If we're bringing in anything sustainability, we want the children to integrate it, the students to integrate and become part of their life. The way we teach it is very important. The normal method of lecture is not there. So I remember what Prof said about, I want to recall what he said about entrepreneurship. The way the government has taken the entrepreneurial development so seriously, in that they teach it in DST, and the children are now they go to the field to act upon what they learn and get skills. That is the way we're going to teach sustainability, for it to have an impact in our society. We should start creating awareness, sustainability days, field drive, recycling days, recycling drive, activities like that. And then this course should be integrated into GST again, if it is very important. Let it be part of GST. Let us have activities that will bring awareness. This awareness that we're talking about, it is not there yet. It is not there among our youths, among our parents, and maybe it's not there. So if we don't bring out activities outside teaching sustainability in the classroom and take exam, we have to bring activities that will align what is happening in the class to the real world. The children will do it, and any time it is being introduced, pedagogy, the way it is taught, should be considered. Thank you.
Thank you for that contribution. So we'll go to the next lady. And she said what you wanted to say. Okay. Okay, so yours will be shorter. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'm Dr. Felicia Imeumana from Akwa Ibom State University. I want to thank the last speaker for the contribution. Part of it is what she has said. But we know that these green skills or sustainability that we are talking about, if we want it to be part of the younger generation, we cannot have it if it is not integrated into the curriculum, just as she said. And two, we know that there are people that are supposed to teach, whether from the primary school even to the university. And these are teachers. And you cannot give what you don't have. So what do we do concerning the implementers or those that will teach these students? And I want to say that there is need to integrate it into the teacher education curriculum. Because if it is not there in the curriculum, I have been a teacher, and you know that Nigeria is examination centered. We have the syllabus, we have the curriculum, and you cannot go outside the curriculum or outside the syllabus, because even the students themselves, they may not listen to you. Because I take, for instance, when I happen to be ACS Green Chemistry 2019 award winner, and when I came back, because it was part of my responsibility that I will create awareness of green chemistry in my university. And I try to introduce it into my lectures. But students complain because it's not part of the content of that course. And, you know, if we don't integrate it into the curriculum, please, I don't think what we are talking about will be actualized. I want it to be a practice because I am also an advocate of green chemistry practice. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, madam. She has brought up the need for the integration of this into teacher education, not just putting it for the students, because you cannot give what you don't have. In fact, that's one of the questions that I had planned to ask Mr. Michael Effiong, because as science teachers, what are you people? How are you motivated? Do you have what it takes to actually handle this? And I think she has answered that question. It's not included. It's not included in the curriculum. You want to answer it? Oh yeah, go ahead.
Thank you very much. Teaching is not just a profession but a call. If you are prepared to teach, especially at the basic education level, you must come down to make sure you develop the skills and the teaching methods that will harness both the grammar education and the practical education. What I'm saying here is, for instance, in the class I teach, we have nutrition as a course or a subject or a topic in animal science. As you are teaching nutrition, you know that you start from what is nutrition and you now pass down to, you now go down to how do you formulate the feed that you use in breeding your animals. Because without the animals, we are talking about food sufficiency and sustainability in Nigeria. When you teach blah 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 the theory aspect of it, the next aspect is there. We call it activity based. You bring in all the things that you have taught, the formulation method, and most importantly, you employ the green chemistry in it. The green chemistry aspect of it is where you now bring the non-conventional stuff to replace the conventional feed stuff. Just like what we did last time, you know, in the agrarian society, in the agrarian communities, those days in Oguitu, in a local government area, they used to discard all the rice bran and the rice husk. But today, green chemistry has made us to understand that we can harness all this and bring this unconventional feedstuff that we used to discard and make it a feedstuff that will, you know, bring out nutrients into feeding our livestock. This is what we practice in the school. You try to show the students, create a time. The time given allotted to each of these subjects might not be enough, but as an innovative teacher, as a science teacher, and you want to take technology and science together, and considering the economy, it should not be a linear economy but a circular economy, that when the student leaves the class and you employ such a student as a farm attendant, you must have had a knowledge of how to take care of the birds. If you are in the swine production, take care of the pigs, and this basic knowledge already is there. Then when the student gets into the higher school, you see that it will not be difficult again for the teachers in the higher school to bring them up to the level of what they expect to churn out in the society. Thank you.
Thank you so much. They've come to tell me that our time is up, right? 10 minutes. Thank you. Well, while waiting for the government or the curriculum developers to actually insert all of this clearly in our curriculum, I think as teachers, we can actually teach some of this. I remember that in my class, there are courses, you can't pass through my class without knowing what gender is. It's not possible. Whatever I'm teaching you, you get to know what gender is and what the advice, what the the challenges are. So we can always do that. You can't pass through my class without knowing about climate change, whether it's in the curriculum or not. Teachers, we have a way of introducing these things, making sure that that our students get to know about things that are happening, whether it's in the curriculum or not. So no student will come and tell me, Professor Valerie, there's no gender in our curriculum. Why are you telling us about gender? It can't happen now. So we'll move to, like we've been told, our time is fast spent. I think we have 2 hands there. I had 2 hands there. Okay, they've been taken. Okay, yes, madam. Please, brief, just
Thank you very much. My name is Grace Hussein from the media. Please, I'd like to direct mine to Assistant Director, Educational Development Service. While she was talking, she talked about the fact that our students have gone on international outings and have come out top. And my problem here is the fact that they were able to make something out of, like, the orange peel, made insecticide and all that. They won the laurels and then they came back. My question is, what has happened after that? What are they doing with that? Have we brought them into the industry? Are they in the, or the government? Has the government set up something that these children can do something with it? What's their awareness? I think there's no synergy between the government, the academia, and the industry. After all this, if these people are made to produce this insecticide, which we know how expensive it is, and we know that we are faced with malaria every now and then, mosquitoes here and there, we know that that's a viable market. So what are we doing to help these children to even make money from that? So does it just end in going to win an award and then they come back? What is happening? Please, we want to know. And then I also feel that more awareness should be created. The television is there. I work with the television service, and I believe that if these children are doing this and they are producing it, let's have maybe a 30-minute program or 1-hour program where they display what they are doing. We can have a market for them. We sell those products. Let's make it a big deal. I think it is not enough to just go and win an award and come back without doing anything. That's my contribution, please.
Yes, madam.
Thank you very much.
She called your name, so answer it.
I appreciate that. A lady from Akwa Ibom State University said something about, I stand to be corrected, please.
Curriculum?
No, okay, not this one, the other one, the first lady that talked about activity-based thing. Well, ours is, I should say we are in an examination level thing that when you read a course to pass examination. So most times, those activities will think they will give us patents. If not patent, at least they will encourage us. Like most times, the federal will tell us, bring it to Science Expo. We'll go there and we'll win award. Sometimes, like Noble's International School won award that they gave a patent. Up till today, nothing is done about it. So that's the fact that we are. They will promise that they will take you to places after that, and it will just end there in their talking. So what else? Now that you have given us assurance, please, before I leave, I will get a number, your own number, so that I'll talk to my boss. We see how we can call those students back and do something. Thank you so very much.
Thank you. I hope she was able to address the issues you raised. And one last one from Dr. Is it Enefio? There's somebody that, please give him a microphone. Briefly, please.
Thank you very much. Mine is just to quickly do a clarification. I think some of the questions that came up, particularly on whether green chemistry is a practice or a course, is as a result of maybe some people were not here when we did the early morning introduction. Because if you look at the definition of green chemistry, it's a way of doing chemistry that doesn't harm the environment or human being. So generally, it's a practice. But that doesn't stop it from becoming a course, because you can teach that practice in school. So green chemistry is a practice, but of course you can teach that practice in school. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Well, our time is up, but before I release the panelists, just one last thing, just closing remark. It's 1 minute each. We'll start from Ms. Epo. 1 minute, please.
I will want to crave your indulgence that any other time a thing like this is organized, that staff from NERDC should be here. It is very necessary they hear this, because we are not the curriculum developers for them. They send the curriculum to us. If they were to be here, I would have been very happy. And so it is, I love it. And apart from gathering like this awareness should be taken to schools, not only here, to primary schools, to secondary schools, to seminars to teachers, because it should not only stop here. We should create a larger awareness. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. That's why we have a lot of head teachers here. So they'll carry the evangelism to go back to their schools and tell them. Yes, yes, sir.
Yeah, thank you very much. Definitely, with the support of the academia, we from the industry side will have or will see things going easier. If students have been taught about sustainability, green approach, hopefully also green agriculture. I'm even not sure if there's an agriculture facility at the University of Uyo. I do hope so. It would definitely help and support us in providing food security in Nigeria. We are always open for partnerships. We do that already with 1 or 2 universities in the country, where we, as from the industry side, supply or provide certain systems so that the students in the agriculture department learn from day one about how to handle animals, how to use systems that are long-lasting, and then at the end of the day, once they are done with their academic time, they might then also venture into their own agriculture business, of course, all the time with our support. Thank you.
Thank you. 1 minute.
I look forward to a day when universities will have incubators in all their departments. These are units where they try to explore the findings in the universities and to make sure that they can practice what they preach. And they should use this as an opportunity to attract industry, to partner with them, to create what industry can take out into the wider world, to create money, and then to create a green economy for the country. Incubators is the direction that we should look at. It's where the meeting point between academia and industry.
Thank you very much, Professor Odo. Professor Bale,
yes.
30 seconds.
Oh, guys. You see, if you understand the principles of green chemistry very, very well, we as teachers, I say the university teachers, should not be afraid of strike. It is during strike you make your money and enjoy your life because of the application of your green chemistry, knowledge. Anytime government says strike or declare strike, teachers declare strike, I feel so happy because I have time now to apply my knowledge to make money. So that is the time I enjoy myself, and I'm making a lot of money through that. You see how fat I am now. In about a month's time, like come and see me, I will have devoted my time now on the students, wasting my time on them because we are not getting anything from it. But because I'm at home, in my environment, I have so many things that I convert. to wet and make money, sell it to people. And my own is the best. I make money. I won't tell you the secret. Come and learn from me. I will tell you so if you have time.
Thank you so much.
So
sir.
don't be afraid of strike. Use your knowledge of green chemistry and make money.
Thank you.
Thank
30
you very
seconds.
much. Ours is not very turbulent. We get to the class, we build the students, we use all the available knowledge of green chemistry at the basic and higher level to make sure we prepare our students. But I'll still urge my science teachers all over the state and beyond Akwa Ibom State to please be innovative. Include those things that you feel will make green chemistry sustainable in our teaching. So when they go over to the universities, they will not be found wanting. Thank you.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. We've come to the end of this session, and we've been able to gather from everything everyone has said that sustainability education is possible, and that development of green skills is also possible, and that it's a necessity, and that that it will, however, be made easier and faster with the support of governments, industry, and corporation. Thank you for listening. Please, let's give them a round of applause as they go back to their seats.
Thank you very much. The photograph is taken with the panelists. We thank the panelists for their very rich contributions. We have really to make adjustments in a time. I understand that Collins is ready to be with us, and his lecture is going to be online. The time now is 12:51. And he will start his presentation by exactly 1 p.m. So I want us to prepare our minds and get ready to link up with him by 1 p.m. on the dot. Collins will do his presentation of the United Nations Environment Program, UNEP, Green and Sustainable Education Manual. He is a consultant of the UNEP. Exactly 1 p.m. we'll link up with him. Okay. is on. Please join him.
Hello. Yes, so I think we are right now ready to take Dr. Collins' presentation. So, Dr. Collins, if you can hear me, we are all listening to you right now.
Okay, so I'll begin. I hope that everybody in this big room can hear me. I'm getting a bit of an echo. I'm going to move to Aqua, is that okay? Chemicals and Health branch of the United Nations Environment Program. I'm really happy to be here. Great to see an event being put together in Nigeria to promote green and sustainable chemistry education, which the UN EP sees as very important. So today I will give a bit of context for our work on the topic of green and sustainable chemistry, and then I'll get into the part on education. So it begins with the Global Chemicals Outlook 2, which was a landmark document, came out in 2019, gave kind of an overview management landscape. So it's a 700-page document, and in summary, it extracts 10 key messages. So I've put a couple on the screen here. One that's not on here is that the chemical industry is growing, and it will reach $10 trillion of value by 2030. Another is that hazardous chemicals and other pollutants continue to be released and are ubiquitous in humans and the environment. And then there are some positive ones. So the growth in the chemical intensive industry sectors gives opportunity to advance innovation, sustainable consumption, and consumers demanding more sustainable products, as well as green and sustainable chemistry education, can be scaled up through policies that benefit chemistry innovation. So what's the potential of green and sustainable chemistry? Well, it's chemical innovation. It's product design, it's process design, and it's not just preventing the release of toxics into the environment. It can contribute to circularity, to climate change, to pollution, to more. So the member states of the world, they saw this potential. They saw what the Global Chemicals Outlook 2 said, and in 2019 in Nairobi, Kenya, UNEA Resolution 4/8 was adopted, and it welcomed analysis of best practices in sustainable chemistry, and it requested that the UN Environment Program, that's us, synthesize these best practices into the first of these manuals. It's available online. I will put a link in the chat, and it's called the Green and Sustainable Chemistry Framework Manual. And it's meant to foster general learning, reflection, and scaling up to action based on a common global understanding of green and sustainable chemistry. And you can kind of see on the screen how it's organized. So the first half, it talks about why and what. So why do we need green and sustainable chemistry? What does it seek to achieve? And what's on the research agenda? That's chapter 4. In the second half, it talks about how. How can we advance green and sustainable chemistry innovation? With policies, by strengthening enabling sectors and programs, and road mapping, and metrics and assessment. And here's the first mention of green and sustainable chemistry education. And I'll obviously be talking more about that in a bit. So right at the heart of this framework manual are 10 objectives and guiding considerations for green and sustainable chemistry. So these are the result of a consensus building process with a group of experts from industry, from academia, from NGOs, from other international organizations, and it kind of tries to show what does green and sustainable chemistry innovation seek to achieve. So everything from typical green chemistry things such as minimize chemical to protecting workers, consumers, and vulnerable populations. So it kind of takes those 3 dimensions of sustainability, puts them into these objectives these innovations can achieve. And ultimately, they are meant to promote innovation, to unveil the full potential of chemistry, such that it is compatible with and supports the implementation of the 2030 Sustainable Development Agenda. So then more recently, a second resolution was adopted in Nairobi, Kenya, at the end of February this year, which welcomed this framework manual and encouraged its use as appropriate. So something that kept coming up while the framework manual is being drafted, it's mentioned in the Global Chemical Outlook too, is that in order to achieve these objectives, we need education. So during the drafting of the framework manual, it was decided that the next manual would focus on education. And in one sentence, it's meant to stimulate and facilitate green and sustainable chemistry education action to empower stakeholders to advance those 10 objectives and guiding considerations. So a short synthesis of all the different dimensions of green and sustainable chemistry learning with a lot of practical guidance, illustrative examples, and links to other educational resources. So it doesn't just focus on educators and teachers, it also looks to speak to learning topics and resources like toxicology, life cycle assessment, material and product design. You know, I'll say I studied chemical engineering in university and I never heard of any of these things until I started working for the United Nations on this program. And so that speaks to the issues that these topics are not included in chemistry education now, and they need to be. Chapter 3, it draws a lot on ACS's Green Chemistry Education Roadmap and their competencies. It kind of gives a step-by-step process to design effective green and sustainable chemistry learning programs based on instructional design principles. So that's kind of the manual aspect of this. You know, it is something that we want teachers and other strategic change agents to be able to go to Chapter 3, see these steps, and see how can I design an effective learning program, you know. So I'm not going to go too deep into it, but when the manual comes out, you'll know that that's what Chapter 3 is for. Chapter 4, it starts to focus on formal education. So that's schools, that's primary school all the way up to graduate school, the manual covers. So two cross-cutting things that the manual really emphasizes is trying to get green and sustainable chemistry considerations integrated in curriculum and to develop the capacity of educators to teach that curriculum. So events like this, that would contribute to developing the capacity of educators. And that's why it's so great to see this kind of thing being brought together, and I'm very happy to be invited to it as well. Here's some examples of green sustainable chemistry being integrated into the formal education system. You have these field trips where secondary school students go to a university laboratory to do green and sustainable chemistry experiments. So that's a nice opportunity to collaborate between secondary school and university. You have visual examples. You can start teaching green and sustainable chemistry education at the primary level. ACS has some nice resources for that, up to the master's and doctoral programs. This is actually a master's program that I studied in Spain on sustainable chemistry. So this might not be as relevant to this event, but chapter 5 goes into non-formal and informal learning, because learning rarely occurs only from a single experiment and can occur outside of the classroom. Development activities, that's into examples, the UNIDO Train the Facilitator workshop. That was a series of workshops that taught, community leaders in different regions around the world how to implement and teach green chemistry. And then the idea is they go out into the world and teach what they learned. Here's a book meant for children on the green chemistry. Here's one of these games. So I guess the manual has all of these resources in one place. We didn't try to develop our own resources because there's all these amazing organizations out there already doing the work, but it's hard to find this sometimes. So having it all in one place, talking about the audiences it reaches, we hope that will be a helpful aspect of the manual. And then to end, the framework manual and the education manual end with a call to stakeholders to develop roadmaps, to take strategic action, to bring together stakeholders towards advancing and implementing green and sustainable chemistry innovation. So you'll see the ACS Green Chemistry Roadmap is a nice example of that type of strategic action for education. And our hope is that the specialized manual can be a resource. As each, you can refer to the specialized manual on green and sustainable chemistry education to support that process. So keep an eye out. We're developing a web page to work on the strategic planning, to help guide stakeholders. We're coming out with the education manual, hopefully in early 2023. And then we'll be looking to implement it, to complement it with actions and disseminate it at workshops such as this. So thanks again for the invite. I hope everyone was able to hear me. I'm sorry I couldn't see everybody. It's tough doing all these virtual presentations, but hopefully one day.
Introduced it's introduced into every aspect of chemistry. So it's not one course, it's every aspect of chemistry. Apart from the interdisciplinary aspects that you can have, you can introduce it not just as a course, but change the mindset of people and to systems thinking, as he said, and incorporate it in everything you do.
Okay, so I understand that Dr. Colin was with us and he was actually hearing what we were saying, but I'm not sure if the media people can assist us. If the media people can assist us to know if he's trying to reach us. Hello? Okay, he said he can hear all of us, so please can you? Okay. Go ahead now, Dr. Colin. Go ahead now, Dr. Colin.
Okay. Answer about integrating sustainability at all aspects of a chemistry curriculum is a good approach, but also separate courses or projects for students, especially in higher education at university, can be a helpful approach to introduce green chemistry. So for example, there is a course at Bentley University in the United States. This is a business school, and it's a course for business students on green chemistry product design. So I think separate courses like this can be a very useful tool for introducing green chemistry education to other disciplines of learning. Another approach is through projects, through project-based learning. So you might want to look at the Berkeley Green Chemistry Center, the Greener Solutions program. It brings together students in business, in the social sciences, in chemistry, in environmental chemistry, in public health, to study alternatives to polluting chemistry products. It's a very interesting course, and it's a very interesting and I think useful approach to introducing students who are not chemistry students to, so when they graduate, maybe they go on to work in business, maybe they go on to work in government, and now they know what it takes to advance green chemistry innovation, and they also know what it can do. And so I think that is very useful, that is very important, and it's a great question, and it's something that
Okay, thank you, Dr. Collins, so much for your time. We really
and yeah, it's my first time being here, so thank you. Please, my slides. Okay, this Green Teach for Opportunity. Want to thank Mrs. Edu Nam and her team for giving us this opportunity to actually share what we do at the ESDI group. So the Green Teach for Opportunity project, GTO, is a project that aims to introduce regenerative career pathways in sustainability development to students and educators. So in this project, educators get to learn more about sustainability, what's the careers in sustainability development, and what their students can learn from them. So my story, I'm from Oka, Nigeria, Anambra State. I got in contact with the Great Teach for Opportunity, the project team, 16 months ago. I want to ask a question, a very awesome question. When you first heard about green buildings, what came to your mind? Anyone? When you first heard about green buildings? You can just say it from the crowd. Anyone? Yes. When you first heard about green buildings, what came to your mind? Yeah. Okay. I think actually you did better than me. I thought it was greenhouse. Yes. So, but when I first started with as a researcher with the Green Teach for Opportunity, I started researching on projects, on associations that offer green credentials. And I found out that it was more than that. It was mind-blowing, like Professor Joshua Lenin. So it made me very interested in green buildings, credentials, accreditation, and schemes that came with them. So yeah, it's awesome. It's awesome. So please go back to the slides. She wrote a book on the topic Ecodemia in 1995, and she has led two of the largest sustainability development education surveys and organized projects, co-organized projects, more than 2,000 different people with different ideas to introduce the green skills. And at GTO, we offer 3 main projects. We offer the Green Skills Education Survey, the Mastery of Green Skills Education course, and the Green Talent Toolkit, where we do lots of research on accreditation and associations that offer them for students and educators. But the Green Skill, the GTO, at GTO we use the Gaia method, and this method has 4 pillars. As you can see, we have the grounding, the adapting, inspiring, and advancing. And these 4 pillars have different things that they work with. Under grounding, educators learn what students need is sustainable, to know about sustainable development. So it's not just about telling them this is it, this is that. No, here they learn what they need to know about sustainable development. Then under adapting, the educators learn how they can adapt the sustainable development into their skill, into their programs and curriculum. So it gets easier for you as an educator, for you as a teacher, to learn how to adapt these courses that these topics you want to take your students in. You learn how to adapt it into your courses and your programs. The third one, we have inspiring. Here we help educators make presentations to governing bodies and authorities for when they need support, and yes, when they need support, we help them to make pitch deck, business cases, teach them how to do it actually, not help them. Yes, we teach educators how to do it. And we have the advancing. We help educators and their students learn. Here they set goals, they learn about what lessons, what team projects they can go for, and everything that involves sustainable development. So it's a very, very large course, and it's actually still in the process of being produced. We are having design charrettes, and we meet every other week to make sure it gets out. Well, we have the Green Skills Survey Tree. So we've gone through Survey 1, Survey 2, Survey 3, and the purpose of this is the survey of green skills education is designed to help fill a gap in knowledge about trends, barriers, motivations, and opportunities related to green skill. So we are looking for knowledges, looking for trends, the barriers, motivations, and we've discovered through our survey lots of barriers. And actually, we have a survey here for you. I don't know, ushers, please help to share it out, or if you've done so. Okay, thank you. So we'd love to have get your feedback so we can collate the results. And this is like the background of everything we've done. We've shared it in this presentation, so I think you can look at it after the meeting, after the event. So yes, last question. Just you can take this moment to ponder or share with your fellow seatmates, or you can also write it down. The first question is, what do students know about the demand for their green sustainable development skills, even if they are studying subjects beyond environmental science? Like if they are studying economics, what they know, can they go into sustainable development? If they are studying English, what can they go into? The second one, what methods and pedagogies are your favorites for educating and inspiring students that they can make a difference, secure good work, and or start a business? And the third one, what resources do you need as an educator to help you prepare students and work with employers at the local, regional, or global level, or as an so what support do you need? So please, you can just take a few moments to share with your neighbor about the food, give out drugs and stuff. But she had to travel, and she had to put me through everything else. So we put them there as manual to be able to help in the farming process. So I understood when he said that. So please just take this moment to ponder our host concept. Thank you for your time.
Please, we can clap better for her. I think Ophelia is very much around. We can interact with her, ask her questions, and then probably also get her contact should we want to collaborate with her. Thank you very much, Chidinma. We would like to have Dr. Samson Lyande, who is a visiting professor at the University of Minnesota in the USA. I'm told he's online now waiting for us. So Dr. Samson, if you can hear me, please, you have about 8 minutes to quickly run through your slides, because we are not having the technicalities here is not really smooth enough for us to interact properly. So just run through your slides, and then we can have 1 or 2 questions for you later on. Media guys.
Okay, I just want to be sure if you can hear me. Oh, okay. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Hello?
We can hear you. So that we don't waste time.
Well, I'm a visiting professor here in University of Minnesota, and Originally, I'm from First Technical University in Ibadan, where I hold a chair and as a professor of chemistry. Well, it's good. I'm honored to join us, having been a stakeholder on green chemistry, and so today we'll be looking at integrating green and sustainable chemistry to education curriculum in Nigeria. Well, basically, I have affiliation with all this institution, but most importantly, my path first crossed with Edu and Adi, why we both serve and make contribution to UNEP Global Chemical Outlook 2, which Collins mentioned previously. We were both on the panel of African experts at Nairobi from 2018 and 2019. Then again, we were together at the First World Forum on Sustainable Chemistry in Germany. So we shared ideas at the conference. I think we were together in Germany twice and with other African experts. And again, we also have collaboration with BASF. And coincidentally, I also met Dr. Nanaki, is her wonderful student at Ayu Park Summer School in Tanzania. So it's a pleasure to join, and she has been a wonderful and erudite scholar that the nation should be proud of anytime, anywhere. And I think they deserve a clap for organizing this, or putting up this event together. Can we put our hands together for them to honor them, please?
We've lost sound. Media, can you chat him to unmute? Did we miss him? Okay, so while we're waiting for Dr. Samson to reconnect, I think we can take a bow break. We've been sitting for about 2 hours now, so can we all stand up and then just move our body, stretch, and, ease off? I'm sure most of us have been seated since 8 a.m., so it's now time to stand up and then stretch your legs a bit. Okay, I think we have him back. Please, let's take our seats. What's happening with the sound, please?
check.
Is it possible to have his slides and share to participants later on so that we can proceed? One house, please. Probably we have to ask Dr. Sampson to share his slides with us so that we can send to participants later on.
Hello.
Okay. All right, Doctor, we can hear you. Can you just run through your slides, please? We've taken enough time.
Can I do what?
Can you run through your slides?
Okay, yeah, I don't have a problem, but I
okay.
Don't know, it's disconnecting and
disconnecting.
I'm sharing the slide. You're also sharing the slide, so it can work both ways.
Okay, that's fine.
So it can work, but that's where the problem lies.
Okay. Continue.
They are sharing my slide underground. I am also sharing my slide, so there will be confusion. It can work both ways.
Oh, okay, I understand. Okay, so you can continue with your talk, please.
Okay, well, so just a quick one. Well, our time is fast spent. So, like I said, my path crossed with Edu while we were both working at a work together on the Global Chemical Outlook 2, UNEP Global Chemical Outlook 2, and of course, we were both participants at the First World Forum on Sustainable Chemistry, and also collaborated with BASF on one of their recycling projects. And of course, I also met Dr. Nanaki at the Green Chemistry Workshop organized by IUPAC. So a lot has been said on green chemistry. I'm not going to waste much time on that, but these are the founders of green chemistry, and they came up with the 12 principles of green chemistry, which you have. But basically, these 12 principles are the game changer in the way chemistry, in the delivery of chemistry, but most importantly, not only in chemistry, but in other areas, because though it emanated from chemistry, but it has gone beyond the shore of chemistry. It's a multidisciplinary approach now, and you will see later in the day. So for an IUPAC, ever since also has, they have been very committed to green and sustainable chemistry development with regular organization of summer school, in which they integrated education and recognized education as a cardinal delivery and as a cardinal pathway to promote green chemistry and sustainable chemistry globally. So, so there has been several summer schools in the last few years. This is just an example. There was one in Tanzania. But importantly, we must not underscore the commitment of UNIDO, and UNIDO works with the Center for Green and Sustainable Chemistry at Yale University on curriculum development. And in the course of this slide, I'm going to go through some of their curriculum and what they have done to assist the global community on green chemistry. So, in the past, sustainable chemistry is primarily driven by the German government, and green chemistry used to be majorly driven by the American government, where they were at the forefront. But but they were at the forefront. So, and that's why the German has an organization which they call International Sustainable Chemistry Collaborative Center, in which they organize regular program and regular meetings for stakeholders, for inventors, for policymakers in the area of sustainability of chemistry and green practice. So, thereafter, an organization called Beyond Benign. Beyond Benign is an NGO in the United States. It was co-founded by one of the founders of green chemistry, that's John Wehner, and so he co-founded Beyond Benign, and primarily to promote educators, to provide tools, training support, and to ensure that green chemistry is integrated into chemistry education in the United States and beyond. And of course, this has yielded to global dividend, and it has spread across many nations. So part of their activity is to come up with a curriculum on green chemistry at high school, at middle school, and at higher education. And if you see what some of the curriculum, they have curriculum on general chemistry, that's for foundational chemistry. They have curriculum on green chemistry, university curriculum. They have organic chemistry, in which they do a lot of replacement of some of the solvents, toxic solvents. And more importantly, I know there was a question that was asked on whether green chemistry should be domiciled in chemistry, because even if it's domiciled in chemistry, green chemistry cannot be taught alone, because within that curriculum, toxicology is very essential, and which you and I know that toxicology is best taught by experts in biochemistry and the like. So, and they also develop a curriculum in that regard, interaction, virtual interaction. So at the UNIDO resources is available, but basically it runs from various topics ranging from courses on introduction to accident, unintentional use, atom economy, sustainable development goal, and it runs even to innovation, how innovation will be promoted in green chemistry. So the resources is free online. You can check up the link, and the resources are available for our use. Office under the presidency, you can see that there is no linkage with the higher education. If you see this framework, education is not part of the medium to achieve the SDG goals. And if there is no, and this is what is duplicated at the state level, if there is no paradigm shift, then there will continue to repeat. Entrepreneurs and startups.
Educator, you go attend the webinars, These webinars will help you and with green chemistry to understand the concepts of green chemistry. And also, we can now, after that, we can now go on and understand the green chemistry curriculum. ACS has developed a curriculum on green chemistry, and that tells us different ways in which we can integrate green chemistry into what we are doing. So whatever we are doing, for instance, for the children in the primary school, it will be mainly activity-based. And green chemistry works hand in hand with chemical security and chemical safety. So the children have to understand that we have to work in a safe environment, and for you to work in a safe environment, you need chemicals that are essentially harmless or not very harmful. So at that level, we can make it activity-based, and then as we go on to the secondary school, or the high school as it's called, we now teach them more on reducing waste. I know that as at now, when we teach practical chemistry, we are so concerned about waste down the drain. So we must start getting acquainted to how can we reduce this waste. For now, we cannot, many of us cannot go into recycling, except you have, maybe you are generating solvent and then you also want to distill your solvent and all. But at our level, let us learn to reduce.
Yes, so I would like